Welcome to Big Blend Radio's Adventures in Asheville show, featuring Steve and Karen Wilson, owners and innkeepers of the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast. Everyone, it's time for another adventure in Asheville. And actually today we're going to be taking 10 adventures for summer in Asheville, North Carolina. We air this show every first Tuesday with our friends Steve and Karen Wilson, Mr. and Mrs. Wild, who own and run the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast, a beautiful historic Victorian, which is right in the heart of the Montford Historic District. And this is a region of Asheville that is accessible to everything. It's so easy to get to Biltmore Village, to the downtown, to parks, the parkway, all kinds of good things. It's easy to get around. Let's just put it that way. But it's in a neighborhood of about 600 historic homes. They have a historic cemetery that you're going to want to visit that has got some famous people resting there, like Thomas Wolfe and O. Henry. And they have Shakespeare that goes on in the park in Montford. A lot we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely.
So how are you guys doing?
Good. How's it going?
You're doing good, doing good. We miss, Asheville, of course. It's weird to be on the
Of
other
course.
side of the country. But you
I
know
know.
what happens when we travel full time? It's what happens. We have to go other places, but we'll be back as always. We
Yep,
keep
you will.
circling around. But yeah, so summer's in full swing, and it's a beautiful time to be in Asheville, as Nancy and I know. And it's great to see things are still picking up pieces, right? So I know that message
Yes.
still needs to get out there, right, Karen? That Asheville is open, and a lot of
Yes.
the
Asheville is
community.
open.
Yeah, a lot of the communities that were affected during Hurricane Helene are open, and even Chimney Rock, aren't they opening now?
Opening this weekend.
Okay,
Yes, they
as
will be
before.
for July 1st. Yep.
That's exciting, and that's where Lake Laura was,
It is.
and the Flowering Bridge. I've been watching the progress of them return the Flowering Bridge to its original beauty, and with all the flowers and the plants, things feel better, don't they? But still,
A lot.
not 100%, but that's good. Now,
Right.
this is important since it's Beer City, USA. Steve, I always ask what's on tap at the inn, because for those who don't know, when you check in at the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast, you get a glass of home brewed beer. So what's on tap?
Yeah, we're going to have a Pilsner coming up pretty soon.
We like that. I think Nancy.
The last one. We tapped out of the last one. Tell them why, Steve. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had one guy who was a little bit overzealous with the tap since we have it upstairs, so he decided to help himself literally and almost drained the thing. But then we had a bunch of friends over that helped us finish it off.
Yeah. And we made a special beer for Stone Whiskey, so we bottled some with a nice custom label. And and we're hoping to do that for anybody else who, doing special occasions and that. So that was a fun test run and all that. So anybody looking for a special custom beer, we can do it.
That is super cool. That's super cool. I saw you guys post that on Facebook because I know they were hanging out in Asheville area. And Asheville's a music town, so that's a cool thing. So the 10 summer must-dos. Okay, well, let's go into some of those celebrations. So Shakespeare, that's your backyard. This is a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's been like 100 years they've been doing this. One of the longest running Shakespeare runs in the country, which is impressive.
Wow. And where is this? There's an amphitheater somewhere?
There is an amphitheater. It's not far from the cemetery, so just a couple blocks behind us.
Wow. Wow. So when does this happen? Do you know, is it like multiple weekends?
It's every weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday throughout the summer, and they do different plays. I think the next one is Midsummer's Night Dream.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm not sure, but they do multiple plays throughout the season even. They don't just do one for the whole summer. They do multiple.
Cool. So there's a good start for some entertainment, is some Shakespeare. And then you've got talking about beer, Brews and Bears at the North Carolina Nature Center, which we've been to the Nature Center. We've done shows with them. And so this is their fundraiser that they do every year. And you get to hang out and see the bears and have a brewski while you do it. So this July 11th, August 8th, September 12th. And Steve, you guys have been to that, right?
Oh, yeah. A lot of fun. They bring the bears out with special treats. They have what they call the trout sickles, where they have frozen trout inside like a bowl of frozen ice. And it's fun watching the bears out there trying to get to those trout.
Yeah, and then they do like an educational thing that bear-wise, tips for everybody about, how to not approach a bear or this or that. So it's a nice educational thing as well.
Well, that's a good point because Asheville is known for its bears. And have you had any at the B&B at all? Like recently?
It's been a while. It's been a good month or so. Yeah.
For visitors, first-time visitors, be aware because I've seen bears on the way to the grocery store from you guys. I've seen bears in your neighborhood, and I've walked into bears literally in Asheville, so it can happen, and it's cool. But you do want to stand back. It's always fun. It's like it's travel the country next time I pet sit, and it's like walk the dog right into the bears, and the next pet sit is like walk a dog into a bobcat. It's fun. You don't want to linger, okay, and you don't want to run either,
right?
But you don't want to linger, and you don't want to run, but back off slowly. So, but don't be scared. I mean, the bears. It's just about being aware, and it's so cool to see them, though. I love them.
It is.
Now, Shindig on the Green. This is at Peck Square Park. This is Saturdays, July and August. What's the Shindig about?
Yep. So it's all Appalachian style. Yep. Appalachian style little festival that they put on during Saturdays during the peak of summer, July and August. And it's all about bluegrass and clogging, and there'll be food vendors and beer vendors. It's just a fun Appalachia kind of thing.
Oh, that sounds fun. I'm all in. And they have food trucks and all that good stuff. We want the food.
Yep, you betcha. Yeah,
all right.
It's like a street festival around around Peck Square Park. Yeah,
cool. Now the floating bar crawl. And I'll put a link to this in the episode notes, everyone, and also one about Montford Historic District because it talks about the Shakespeare Montford players as well. And we'll put that link in there, and also one to Cody's interview with us from Cedar Rock Adventures. And I am so happy to hear this is still on because that was actually, when I looked at, the river, the French Broad and everything, I was wondering, will this business, be able to still do floating bar crawls? And I think this is a necessity in life that people get to do this. Steve, did you enjoy the floating bar crawl?
Board even.
Pretty
so
nice.
We're on board, stops, a few stops. Can't get better than that.
Yeah. You went to places like Belgium Brewery. Didn't you do Belgium? Because you can...
We did New Belgium. Yeah, we did New Belgium, and we did a couple other ones. We did one that is no longer there. That has nothing to do with the hurricane. They actually sold that place before it all happened. So I'm not sure where he is taking people right now. I'd be curious to know. So it might be mixing it up. Wedge was the other one we had gone to, Wedge Brewery.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, and then speaking of, breweries and things, Asheville's definitely known for its brewery. And I think Highland Brewing did so much during the hurricane. They need a big shout out for that they've done for the community. And also being the father, may he rest in peace, right? Who started Highland Brewing.
I know. Truly.
And what we'll do is we'll put a link to the interview with his daughter. This was a couple years ago, I think now that we did. We'll put that in there for everyone. We've been doing the show for a couple years now, 2-3 years. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I know. I think we're going on 3.
Wow. Aren't we just good? We're spiffy.
Yeah.
We're spiffy. Does everybody remember that word? Spiffy. That's it's a Nancy word right there. Yeah, Nancy. Yeah, she used to use the word spiffy. But spiffy. Oh, now I hear she's yelling across here. Spiffy. But if she says something is spiffy and she does an accent with it, she's being completely sarcastic. It's you think you're spiffy. All right. So now, if you want to get spiffy, but not in a sarcastic way, there's rooftop bars that you guys went to a rooftop bar with Stone Whiskey, right? The band, the rooftop bars. That is. I mean, the views have got to be outstanding because of the city and then just the mountains. Ooh, perfect.
There's so many different rooftop bars. They all have something different to offer. We have our few favorites, but I'm like, you can see the mountains from almost all of them. Some more, you see the architecture of downtown around you. Some, they all have different kinds of feel, if you want to say. Some are definitely a little more trendy and others are a little more upscale. So we have our favorites, but yes, we went to Soprana, which is right down the road from us, so easy walk, and that definitely has one of the best views. They have some good food, nice drinks, and it was just a gorgeous day.
Nice, man. That is awesome. And there's rooftop bar tours, so we'll put a link in the episode notes for that. So you can hear the interview that we've done. We've done a couple. And so that way, you don't have to drink and drive either. That's a nice thing. Someone's taking you around. and giving you the history too, right? That's the other thing.
Yes.
It's not just here, go have a cocktail. They're giving you,
right.
they're curating it. They're giving you the history, and you can get all kinds of fancy cocktails. I think a fancy cocktail is good once in a while.
Yeah, that makes that part fun, because I like that it's not just about the cocktails. It's about history, where they'll show you old pictures of what it used to look like and what you're seeing around you now, so you can kind of compare what it looked like then compared to now. So I think it makes it fun.
Yeah, and that's a perfect summer thing, like just the end of day sunset with a cocktail. Okay, I want to ask each of you about a memorable cocktail that you've had in Asheville. I know you do a lot of beers because you've got a lot of brewskis and, breweries and make your own beer. So I know that's always a norm. But I know that you go out for cocktails, or even sometimes I know the breweries even make some interesting, concoctions with people. So Steve, what about you? Like what would doing a cocktail, what have you had in Asheville that stands out for you?
I don't do a lot of cocktails, but I had one the other night at Ginger's Revenge. It was really good. It was their Ginger's rosé mixed with, I want to say, gin and something else I'd never heard of, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. But it was
Sangria.
I can't remember the name either, because it was something a little funky, but it was one of their new monthly cocktails. Yeah, that was tasty.
Ginger's Revenge is they make excellent sips. So that's another one. We'll put that link in the episode notes too, because we've had them on the podcast. Yeah. We'll just do a big list. I think I'll just put one big list together of past podcasts so you can hear, because everyone is also really just clamoring to make things work, and that's something to think of too. So supporting these businesses and nonprofits that we're talking about means the world as Asheville gets back on its feet, and also it helps the surrounding areas, that also the smaller communities that were impacted too. Drinking beer helps. Just it does. It does. All right. So Karen, what about you for your cocktail?
I've had a lot of different ones here they've all been good. I can't name a particular one. I like anything with whiskey usually, but I will say some of the best cocktails have got to be either at the Antidote Bar or at the Crow and Quill Speakeasy. They're just nice bars, and they definitely do nice cocktails.
Cool. I like this. All right. So before we head out to the outdoors, we got to mention the Biltmore, because I know that is a must-do. That is an icon of Asheville. Right. So, tell us a little bit about what's going on in the summer. And also go to the Arboretum while you're there. That's also cool. I'm adding to the list.
Absolutely.
Can I add that to the list? We've got 11. We have 11. The North Carolina Arboretum is amazing. Beautiful botanical garden. They've got a center. The National Geographic, they have a wildlife exhibit on still, of wildlife photography. I don't know if it's still on.
No, I think that's done. I think that's done. I'm not sure what the one is right now, but they started something new.
Okay,
so
and they have public art.
Yeah.
And they have hiking trails and azaleas.
They do.
And salamanders down on the hiking trails. I don't know if you saw salamanders the last time you went, but they have salamanders.
No, not the time.
That's a good place
as far
to go.
As Biltmore.
Yeah, go with the Biltmore.
It is. As far as the Biltmore, right now, the gardens, same thing. All year, other than winter, Biltmore, beautiful gardens right now. I say the highlight is the Rose Garden area. They still have some of the most fragrant roses you'll ever smell. So it's just fun to wander around and just follow your nose. And then they have the King Tut exhibit. Go ahead, Steve, on that one.
King Tut? Yeah, it's they have an exhibit there with King Tut. They have a lot of history about how it all came about. They kind of do it in a theatrical way, which is kind of neat. From our guests that have been there, they've really enjoyed it. So it's pretty neat.
I think it's one of the better ones.
They did a good job.
King Tut.
All I hear in my head is walk like an Egyptian.
I hear the King Tut. I have Steve Martin on my brain. Here we go. Here we go. All right, Bill. So the botanical garden, is that open still? I think it's back open again. The Asheville, because that's a cute.
The one at the UNC. It is.
Yeah. So that's dude. The Asheville Botanical Garden, I think, can be added in too, because that is it's formerly known as the Botanical Gardens at Asheville. It's independent from the, but it is at UNC, like as you're saying. But
right.
That's a beautiful place to go and visit too. And they're open. You can go in. It's They do have some parking. They're doing some repairs from what I would go on their website, but they're up and running and they have flower power and it's time to go. So check that out. I'm adding to your list. Sorry, I can't help it.
No, there's so many things. It was hard to choose 10.
I know. I don't know who came up with the 10. Why should we? We can do what we want.
Yeah.
Outdoors stuff. Now whitewater rafting. So that is rocking on now. So where do people go for that?
So one of our partners is called Blue Heron, and they're 20 minutes to the north of us. And we just had guests do the whitewater rafting about a week and a half ago. And I guess, we have not been, we spent a little time up there, but not a lot. The river has gotten wider. So they were forewarned about that. So it made the rapids a little bit more, but that's in that sense a good thing for adventure, right? So our guests were real happy and said they had a great time, and I recommend it. We did it several years ago and we thought it was a great tour.
Very cool. So water, it's summer. You want to get out on the water. That is awesome. Now, we talked about zipline and canopy tours with Nevitat last month. And so I'll put that in the episode notes too, because that is pretty epic, right? That one, doing that. And that's something I think even doing in the fall though would be cool to do.
That's the one time we have not done, and definitely we want to. So hopefully this year we're gonna make it up there.
But summer, you got the green trees and the shade, and it sounds like really for a group event would be pretty epic to do. So
definitely.
Awesome. Now, Sliding Rock. What is Sliding Rock about?
So Sliding Rock is in Pisgah National Forest, and it's a natural rock water slide.
Wow.
Steve would probably do it, not me. I don't want 55 for me.
My butt's a little too bony for that.
It's true.
TMI. No, I'm just kidding. Well, but it's fun. I mean, that's super fun to do. And then, so now that you've got, these, rocks that you can slide down on, what about waterfalls? We got to put that on the list. Waterfalls?
Yeah. I kind of figured that kind of goes with hiking. In most cases, you got to kind of hike to a waterfall. In most cases.
I'm still at
waterfalls. Definitely waterfalls this time of year because, we've had a decent amount of rain, so waterfalls are pretty good right now. Of course, on a hot day, feels good to go in that water. I won't go all the way in. Steve can shower underneath the waterfall.
A lot of these creeks have decent pools that are nice and anywhere from 6 to 10 feet deep. You can make a nice dip and as deep as you dare to go.
There's snakes in there, man. I know
there you can take.
The snakes are all looking for if you're going to see a snake in the water, it's usually where the sun is, isn't it? Like in a rock where they can sun themselves. And the water snakes, I'm not trying to freak people out, and they're not going to be where there's a bunch of people either. They do not want that.
No. They're not poisonous anyway.
They're not poisonous.
They're
not. Beautiful. Yeah. Absolutely gorgeous. Remember we saw them at Chimney Rock. Was it Hickory Nut? Yeah.
That was awesome. That was cool seeing a bunch of them there.
Yeah, 2 different species. It was just magical to see.
Yeah.
And they didn't care about us. They just wanted a sun and be warm and enjoy.
Right.
They had a good view. I mean, think about that. Animals get good views. They're like, I wonder if they do that. They're like, let's sit here on the rock and sunbathe and look at our own waterfall. I wonder if they do that.
Yeah.
So speaking of, so waterfalls, because there's like Looking Glass Falls that people can access easily, right? Okay. So a lot of this is going to be the Pisgah National Forest because the parkway is open in some places, open not, right? So that's still
right. So,
but Pisgah National Forest is, and part of the parkway with Pisgah Forest is open, right? Or where are we on that? Yeah.
That's why I didn't put the Blue Ridge Park initially on the list because there's information that's getting out there that's not always correct. But there are sections that are completely open on the Blue Ridge Parkway. The closest part to us by the Arboretum, we have heard that it's going to be August 1st. And then there's some other sections that may not be till right in fall, and that's more to the north and a bit further from us. So hopefully in the next month, the stuff closest to us will be all open again.
Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. Okay. Yeah, so it's getting there. It's getting there. So by fall, that'll be nice for people to be able to go back to doing that. It's a lot of work. Hiking. So hiking, your trails are mostly in the Pisgah Forest, and you guys were posting some insanely gorgeous photos of the rhodies, the azaleas. I mean, the flower power is there. And I think people were probably worried about that kind of thing, but it's there. You can do that.
It's thriving. I'm surprised. We expected nothing to be coming up, and everything's actually much better than it was.
Yeah. It's like that's interesting. Cool. Well, yeah. Well, that happens after fires, right? You get different species too.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's to me fascinating to see nature recover. And so those of us who like to geek out on it, remember these things are like a cleansing or a rebirth in the world of nature. It's like, okay, we're shifting things around. It's like, hey, when you go in and, you change your house around and, change is inevitable and nature goes through it all the time. And you will find different species, I bet. I would take whatever tours you can do, like the wellness tours, the hiking tours and things like that, where the photography tour people, I think, are still going. So this list may get a little bit bigger. I'll make sure we give you all the links to the past podcast episodes where people are, like if our photo tour people, our wine tour people are back at it, I would say do it for the summer. It'll really help people. You'll have a super good time, but the tour guides will know better about where to go and where not to go, what's open.
Absolutely.
They know the area like the back of their hand. So I will make sure to follow up and, we'll put a nice list together. We'll probably just go up on the website and I'll put one link in the episode notes. However it happens, people, the link will be in the episode notes, or also just go through, Adventures in Asheville, wherever you like to listen to a podcast, and just go through the archives and you'll see so much about what you can do in Asheville and the surrounding areas. It's amazing. The theater performances at Flat Rock Playhouse, you've got the orange peel. There's so much. And so that's right. Like 10 things to do. Yeah, well, we didn't do very well limiting ourselves. But that's a good thing. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is a good thing. It's good decisions to have. That's what I say to guests. I'm like, it's a good decision. What are you going to do today? I want to do this, but I want to do that. It's a good decision to have.
Okay, so going back to hiking, because that's one of the things people who love to do. Evening hikes, are the fireflies over with in July, or are they still going like for those firefly walks and things? Where are we on that?
So there are no specific tours for fireflies. We're past the peak of that, but we still have them in the yard, and they usually, would you say, Steve, like mid-July through mid-July, maybe even end of July?
Yeah, you should be. I haven't seen as many this year, but usually in July there'll still be a few flickering around.
Okay, so
they're still around right now.
They're they're shining their light for their mates. They're so cool, And the butterflies, I mean, we've started to see swallowtails. What's it like in swallowtails and butterflies coming out now?
We've seen the swallows for months. We've seen them.
Yeah.
Our favorite time is coming up with July and August in that meadow, and we're going to be able to get up there and we're going to see what we can find butterfly-wise, wildflower-wise. We're going to have to make plans to do that pretty soon, Steve.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's Stuart's Knob?
Sam Knob.
Sam Knob.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought it was Stuart's Knob, but anyways, Sam's Knob, Yeah, that meadow is gorgeous. And I remember so many butterflies and just the views. It's like the are thick and diverse. And it's just like biodiversity, the max. And then there's blueberries and they taste delicious.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And it's not a hard hike either, because they've got like a platform as well.
Right.
That's pretty good to do. And so that's in Pisgah National Forest, everyone. So that's a good hike to do. Any other trails you would recommend people do for flowers and butterflies and magic, Appalachian magic?
That's our favorite. That's our go-to, but you pretty much find them anywhere.
Yeah, the overlooks. You don't have to hike a lot of times. You can just check out some of the overlooks and
it's
as
true.
long as they haven't cut back all the flowers, you can usually find some decent stuff.
One of our favorite flowers will be soon. Our Carolina lily will be pretty soon up on the Parkway.
Birding time, it's the bird season as well, right? So birds are out there, hawks, everything.
Birds all seem extra happy. Yeah, birds seem extra happy. I don't know. Maybe it's all the green, same thing.
Yeah, because it's food season. They've had a rough time. The wildlife during the fall, what they normally, feed on got moved around on them in a violent way. And then it gets into winter and, now spring, summer is like, okay, let's go. Let's have some fun. And, it's, yeah, I mean,
Yep.
they want to party too.
True.
They're on vacation, Apparently some birds, I just saw this whole thing about how cedar waxwings get drunk on berries that have, ripe berries. I saw this photo of, and people thought they were a bunch of dead cedar waxwings, but they were all just passed out drunk from eating berries that were fermented. And bats do it
hilarious.
Too. Some bats get a little bit. They know like their limit, and then some go, well, I'm going to take it over the limit. It's just some of them, no, I'm going to be the rebel bat, They've got a Billy Idol in there and an Aussie. No, anyway. But there's so much to do in your area, and I'm so glad it's coming back. And it's amazing to think it's like it's almost been a year. Like, isn't that wild? It's a long, long time. And so I'm hoping that everything is, just everyone enjoy the summer. It is just magical. And then the fall, it's going to be even better, So it's upwards from here. So much to do. Go to lion-rose.com. It's a great site. They've got information on there about the bed and breakfast. They always have amazing packages, right? So do you have packages for the summer? I know you've got some that are there all the time, like a romance package, stuff like that.
Yeah, we pretty much have the same things going right now. We don't really have anything special other than I was offering some holiday specials if people booked a holiday weekend, and that includes 4th of July weekend and Labor Day weekend. We have a little discount if you're willing to stay the whole weekend.
Nice. And can people still do it where they want to book out the whole B&B, like if it's a family reunion or friends?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. We enjoy that. We enjoy having a whole house of people that are here for a reunion or this or that. So we offer a little discount for that as well. Good incentive to get everybody together.
How do we get the kegerator in our room? The mini keg.
If you stay 3 nights. If you stay 3 nights. Yep. If you stay 3 nights or more, you get a in-room keg for yourself. Mm-hmm. Definitely even bonus perk, yes.
Even if you're traveling solo, you still get it? Seriously. Yeah. Hey, you don't have to share. Sounds good.
No, you don't have to share. Even better.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, I think that's nice.
Underneath the spout and everything without anybody bothering you.
Well, you know what I love is the room at the very top floor. Is that the Tom room?
Yep,
Major
the Craig Toms,
Major Tom.
Hey, that's all right.
There's no ground control because you're at the top floor, and there's that little balcony where you can play Rapunzel. But like to me, that's a balcony to drink beer, watch the neighborhood, because it's a cool neighborhood. And then to just look out at the garden and watch for bears. It's just beautiful out on that little patio out there, and it's like my own little private part of the mansion. And if I was a queen, I would sit up there, and I'd have to think about whether I'd let people, swing from my hair. If I would want to drop it down. But if I was a queen at that time, they'd have to really do something like those stupid corsets we used to have to wear as women.
Boy.
God, I don't really have any memories from past lives. I mean, whale corset. Could you imagine what they would try to do to me? Oh my God. It's like put a tent and a corset together. That's not good. I know. I'm sorry. Just give me a beer and get on with it. Okay. I don't know why I went there, but I did. But, you could play Shakespeare in the park too. They dress up in those kinds of clothes as well.
Yeah.
But it's teetering on, Oktoberfest when we start thinking about that kind of clothing.
Really.
Yeah, it is kind of similar.
It is.
Well, you guys have an awesome summer. I know you're going to have a great time as you already are with guests. And we've got some surprises down the road coming on the podcast with you guys. And then I know you can't wait to share, but we can't share it yet. But we want to. Mm-hmm. We want to tell you. But, are we allowed to say it now? Okay, we're really not. Like, I'm trying.
I think we can, at this point, the video has been done. So we can say we've had a music video shot here with Stone Whiskey, their song called Nowhere to Go. It will be out in a month or two, and as soon as it is, we can share it and show everybody this is one of my favorite songs from them. I think it's an awesome song. And I'm not tired of it after hearing it all weekend.
Oh, wow. Well, to see that process of a music video being made, right? It's fascinating about the videos, right? It's just so how they make it and then how you see it. And they must have had fun because they're in a relaxed environment too,
I would think so. I think everything went great. Everything went smooth. So many nice places to go. And then we went out even and to help, do a little footage in some other little small businesses and that to help lift Asheville up, saying we're open.
That's awesome.
Cool.
And well, this isn't, you've had a lot of musicians. You've had a lot of musicians stay at the inn, and it's kind of becoming like the rock and roll B&B, which is good. I think it's fun.
I love it.
Why not? It's a bed and breakfast have changed. And I think that's something we talked about when we very first met you about how, it's not what bed and breakfasts are. No. There are some that are very traditional with all the doilies and everything, which, we're back to the doilies. And I know you have doilies around there. Not 20,000 of them, the dust catchers, right?
No.
But it's changed. There's more personality, I think, in the B&Bs and more accepting to all ages, not necessarily like children and stuff. Everyone's different on that.
Right.
I've been to B&Bs, which are family. They were like, this is all about family. We have an indoor pool and because of snow and winter that they have. And they're like, we are all about family staying at the bed and breakfast. And I'm like, I think you're the first one we've been to. It's completely different than anywhere else. And I think that's the beauty of staying at bed and breakfast is that you're getting a very authentic experience, and travelers would rather save up and go to a bed and breakfast and have that authentic part of the experience, exactly. Those kind of, everyone's different, obviously, and travel needs are different across the board, but it's special. And I think that's so cool about musicians coming and filming there because you've got a beautiful building, beautiful garden. The neighborhood is awesome. I hope you did work. I'm thinking it's
I hope so too.
Yeah. I mean, didn't you have bands stay there while they were performing as kind of like their mansion for their green room,
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I think we're gonna keep that. We're gonna keep this place a rockin'.
Yeah, you had Ricky Rockman there too. Remember, Headbangers Ball Man? You had him stay there.
Yes, exactly. Ricky Rockman stayed. Yeah, he stayed a few times now.
Yeah,
we keep in touch with him, so it's cool.
Yeah, he was really cool during the hurricane, doing some donations to places and gathering things.
Yeah, absolutely.
He did, and now he's doing like some biking tour, right? A motorcycle tour with his wife. That's cool.
For suicide prevention. Very cool. Nice. It's all the money is going to suicide prevention. Very good cause. Very cool.
So we'll put that link in the episode notes too from that podcast.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So everyone, you're getting a bunch of links so you can plan your trip and go have a good time in Asheville and know that while you're there, it's extra special and important to the people that live there, work there, run businesses there. It means the world to them. Tourism really can create a community of everyone. I was saying this, when someone goes to a community as a traveler, you are a temporary part of that community. And it goes both ways, right? It's like everyone becomes a community. You become like these friends, but sometimes people keep coming back and sometimes live there, or it's just it's friendship, and you can bond over fun things like beer, fireflies, bears, waterfalls, going to the Biltmore and seeing this insane mansion. Talk about a mansion. That's an estate. Like that's a massive history. When people are at a bed and breakfast, they tend to get excited to go to breakfast to meet their new friends at the breakfast table if they don't know them. And everyone seems to like swap stories or meet at the end of the day. And, they all trade stories of what they've seen and done, but I see people friends and like, stay in touch afterwards even.
Absolutely. We know several that have done just that. Yep. It's very cool to see.
Thank you so much, you guys. Everyone, go to lion-rose.com. That is the website, and it's going to be a fun trip if you go. I promise. Take care, everyone. Thanks for listening. And you guys take care and give Ozzy and Miss Alita a little, furry hug from Nancy and I.
Absolutely, will do. Thank you.
See you later.
Thank you for joining us here on Big Blend Radio's Adventures in Asheville show. Learn more about the Lion and the Rose Bed and Breakfast, which is located in the historic Montford District of Asheville, North Carolina. go to lion-rose.com. You can keep up with our Big Blend radio shows at bigblendradio.com.